Well, hello there. Welcome to the Obi Foreign Alliance. In today's video, we'll be discussing in a non-spoiler way on Disney Plus a show called Big Shots. And helping me with that is Luke. If you can, like and subscribe. Leave a comment about your thought about the show. Yeah, in a non-spoiler way, what was your thoughts about the show? It's quite an uplifting show.
Yeah, it is a great show. I really enjoyed it. I was looking forward to when it came out. I watched it as it came out each week on a Friday, and then you've recently watched it due to me kind of persisting and telling you that you'd like it. So let's summarize the show. So what in essence is the show about?
I would say it's a feel-good coming-of-age story of taking responsibility with choices and kind of not being selfish, I would assume, is the message, and kind of getting along, and we all have things that we've got to deal with, and we all got stuff that happens, and I think the message there, just everyone just has problems.
Yeah, it's different than other shows, and I was trying to recommend it to you. It has little drama in it, or the drama it has is kind of resolved quickly, which is unlike a teen drama show. It does always tend to make you feel good, and it in essence it's about feeling good and people improving. Very few negative things happen in this show. Something good always seems to come out of it in the end, which is different, and I don't know, it's very Disney in a way, I guess. So let's summarize what actually happened. So that's what the show is kind of about. So it follows a character played by John Stamos, whose name is Coach Korn, or Marvin Korn is his full name, and he is a disgraced basketball coach who coached at a college level, and he won how many national titles?
3 titles, and then we find out later on he could have won 4, but 3's still good.
Yeah, so he won 3 titles, but he was known for being controversial and losing his temper.
Yeah.
And he lost his temper in a game and threw a chair at a referee.
Yeah.
And then from that he got fired. There was memes and videos about him on the internet. He was talked about on the news and basically became unhireable. And this show follows him being given a lifeline and offered a job doing something a little bit different. So what does he get offered a job in?
Basically a high school role, teaching, very different from what he's used to, teaching high school girls instead of college men.
Yeah, and I guess the show follows the complex of him wanting to return to coaching at a high level with males, but then being at this school where it's not about being elite and good at basketball, because the school he coaches at, they're more of an academic school. The girls are okay at basketball, but they're in Division 3. They're not world champions. They have one player who they think might go on to play college basketball, but he goes from taking this role of being a coach with elite males to now almost being a father figure to these girls.
Yeah.
And the show, do you think it follows that well? Like, there's a lot of girls that are going through different things, and he steps into the role of being their father.
Yeah, especially one.
Yeah, and he always gives little speeches, and it's nice to see, because he's perceived as being this tough basketball coach, but then
they're good speeches.
Yeah, and then he really comes around and cares for these girls, and then they also learn to play basketball along the way. So it is very much a feel-good show. What else, without being any spoilers? So it follows him with
She
that.
has a daughter as well.
Yeah, so we also, through the series, get introduced to his daughter coming and joining the school. You would think that she would be a basketballer as well, like in so many other movies and shows, but actually her talents lie in performance and music.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that. So you get to see him take the role of being an actual father and having this daughter that he hasn't had much to do with in his life so far because he's been so dedicated to his job. And yeah, overall, what did you think of the series?
I think the feel-good moments, kind of with his speeches, it's something that I think you can take away from. It's not a perfect show, but it does what it's supposed to do. Like, it's not amazing, but it's something that you can watch and, you know, enjoy the progress of the females and kind of see them, I guess, improve. Like, they're not perfect in any way. They're kind of, I don't want to say stereotype, but you got your each, you know.
Oh, they do try and fit some kind of stereotypes.
Yeah, you got your lesbian, your group, you got your podcast, you got all your sorts there.
Yeah, you got like someone that's a famous Instagrammer, and then there's the typical rich girl, and it's I enjoyed it. I look forward to it every week when it came out.
Yeah.
There's little things about it that could have been better, but I enjoyed it the whole way through. My main issue was I'm kind of torn up about the ending of Series 1, which we'll talk about later, but I guess if the ending was the ending I wanted to happen, then there wouldn't be a Series 2. So maybe it's a good thing.
Well, they still could have done it, but it would have been a completely different show, but...
Yeah. The show features a cast of typical attractive females, young females they've selected. They're all in their early 20s playing, I guess they might be 16, 17-year-old girls.
Yeah.
Which is pretty standard for shows and movies to get actresses much older than what they are, play younger characters. There's one male character in there who's the brother of the main female, and he looks like a young Ryan Gosling. I don't know if you thought the same, but watching it, he looks so much like Ryan Gosling. It is an extremely... Harvey. So the show's very female cast heavy, being in a female basketball team in an all-female school with mainly female teachers. We're introduced to only a couple of male teachers, but we'd assume there's more. Overall, I think they do a really good job. I looked up a lot of the female main basketball characters, and nearly all of them had no prior movies or shows they'd been in. So this is their first thing I'm aware of. They may have been in stage productions or something, but they were all very, very talented, I thought. They all played different roles, and I feel like each episode kind of, I guess it would have been intentional, kind of one of them would have became the main focus at different times, and they each had their own little dramas, but the show didn't fixate on it. It didn't have that typical mean girl attitude, or something goes wrong and two characters know a secret about another, but they keep it a secret, and then it leads to this finale at the end where everyone finds out and you're on a cliffhanger and they're hating each other, or people stealing each other's boyfriends. Like, it just didn't have that. I think because of the lack of male characters in it, there wasn't a lot of boy drama. There was boyfriends in the show, but they were I guess there's different roles played by them. There's one where the boy really liked the girl saw him more as a friend. That kind of ended. They had a little half an episode about it, gone. Another one, a girl falling in love with one of them, and they think he might be, because he's from a different school, and it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet issue. Again, resolved itself. And then the other one, there's one of the characters is dating another female character's brother, but that's all good. There is no drama. They seem to be all happy. So there's a little bit of dating, but it's just not your typical drama, which was nice.
Yeah.
If you were going to give it a rating, what do you think?
I'd say average to good. Like, it's a feel-good show, but it has its problems. Like, it feels, I don't know, a little bit annoying when the girls do something and then they make it all dramatized. Oh, how could he do this? Or when the assistant coach does something, they make it a big deal, and then when they do something, it's all okay. I don't know. It's that, I guess, typical girl thing. And then I guess the other problem that I kind of had is when they actually played the basketball. Like, you could tell when they were shooting, that's not how you shoot.
I did feel the same about the basketball. I thought their quality of basketball wasn't high, but you got to remember they were a Division 3 girls team, so they're not actually probably as good as you would expect them to be. Like, they're not saying like we're the best players in the country. They're in the third division in their local area. Like, they're actually like not expected to be any good. Being not from America, I guess I wonder whether they invest that much time and effort into a basketball program. They've got their own fancy stadium and like really nice outfits and custom shoes, but maybe that's what it's like in America. I don't know. We definitely don't invest that much time in our sport here.
No.
My rating, the same. I think it was above average. It did what it was meant to, made you feel good. I looked forward to it. I laughed at points. I was excited at points. It's a kind of a perfect streaming show. If it was something that was on normal TV, I don't think it would gain popularity.
No.
And then even on streaming services, maybe not a lot of popularity, but seems like it would have been easy to make, low budget. Like, it doesn't look low budget, but it wouldn't have cost as much as other projects Disney invest in. And, you know, it's another thing to add to their ever-growing catalogue of streaming. So I say above average as well.
Yeah.
Moving into the spoilers section. So if you haven't seen the series, you probably want to turn off now.
And come back.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about? Or you got a question for me or something that's itching that you want to bring up?
How did you feel about the ending? Because I feel like it throughout the journey, his main goal was to get back to college, and then he gets a perfect opportunity to. The assistant coach is kind of, her goal is to become a head coach, and then they could have write it perfectly when she becomes the head coach of the team, but it's like, oh, the board doesn't want her, and I don't know, to me it just felt like a season 2 just to see if the assistant coach does the same thing that the head coach did, be loyal or take the position. What, she'll kind of be a hypocrite throughout the show, you know, be loyal to the girls, or, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, the ending's probably the most controversial part of it. Throughout the series, you like the coach, you want to see him return to college. Even though the girls are doing well and he's growing with them, you still want to see him.
They got to where they wanted to go, Division 2.
Yeah, you still want to see him get there. And the fact there's a suitable replacement in the assistant coach, you think, well, this is perfect. But as we've said before, season 2 would be very different if things went that way. And maybe that would mean that John Stamos, the main casted actor, isn't in the season. So it wouldn't work in that sense, or it'd be very different. But yeah, it's a tricky one because you're cheering for him, but at the same time you go, oh yeah, the girls, they need him, you know, and he's helped them out. But you got to keep in mind that they are 2 graduating from high school, so they eventually will leave him. So
he made a good point, and it's like, you know, eventually you're going to move on, and they were pretty like selfish about it. It's like in life, it's like we both passed high school. It's a, you know, point in our lives that we just, you know, we don't stay at the same place. And that was the main drama that I didn't like. Like, I could take everything else, but that was like, I really don't really like how you're being selfish about it. And then the daughter as well, it's like, oh, I hate how you always control where we go. And then it's like, oh no, I'll go with you. It's like...
yeah. Well, that was the one drama they kind of focused on, was right towards the end of the series. he'd got this offer to swap to a new school, like a college.
Yeah, it's all perfect.
And they all got so angry about it. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're a traitor, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, but they got to understand that he's not leaving them, he's not being a traitor, it's a job, you know.
Yeah.
People swap. It's like there's girls in their school that would swap schools and they will eventually graduate, and players get traded from professional teams and coaches move on. It's just part of the business. If he went to their rival school, that would be a completely different story, but he's moving on to, well, he's returning to where he came from. But yeah, they got very angry about that, and then of course he has a long think about it and makes the right decision and chooses to stay there.
Well, the show makes that the right decision because you don't just cut and run and leave them dry, but I don't know. It will be interesting to see how they write it for the assistant coach, because it's like they made the male character stay, but will they do the same thing for her? Because she can't make it that they both do the same thing.
They play. The series really makes you try and feel like different things are going to happen, or feel different emotions, which is like yeah, you really felt that it was building towards him leaving, but then you go, oh no, they're not going to do that. They're going to make him stay around. He makes his big speech, but they kept going on like he always does this. He always leaves and he moves, but then he talked about being at this one college for many, many years and winning multiple times. So it doesn't actually seem like that's something he does. He doesn't swap and change. He just wants to return to a higher level of basketball coaching. It's not like he changes teams every year to try and improve his status. He just wanted to be at a higher level. The college he was going to was not a successful college anyway. So he was just going there because that's where he thinks he belongs.
Yeah.
A question for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they really led us on different paths with like his love interest?
Yeah.
Did you feel that the assistant coach and the main coach were like from the beginning those two were going to become love interests?
Maybe, yeah.
And like there's so many subtle hints about it, and they went on like not on dates, but they went and discussed their team and went out for drinks and dinners, and it really seemed like something they were going to do. But then they chuck a spanner in the works of another love interest for him.
There's actually 3 that I thought they were going to do. The rival, kind of that female...
The teacher? Like the history teacher that like really hates him and has like... Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They did it that it was kind of the alpha theatre teacher.
Yeah, because she didn't feature in the show until all of a sudden she's like, oh, I have a crush on Marvin Korn, and then she just straight up just asked him on a date, or like tells him like, we're going here and you're going to be there. And I do like her as a character.
Yeah, she's interesting.
But I felt that maybe they chucked her in there so that he would go on a date with her and go, oh, this isn't working. I actually really like the assistant coach. But no, they seem to work fine, and the season finishes with them still together.
Yeah.
But they also chucked in, there's the other teacher that hated him and kept punishing his basketball team, but then all of a sudden she watched a video on him and then came to like him.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe that was going to be the twist. But yeah, so they take in a few different directions with the love interest. Again, they chuck in the daughter. She comes, and I thought that was going in one or two directions. She was going to bring a lot of drama. Like she was going to come to the school and create issues, but instead she came very liked and popular. Her and her dad only argued on very small occasions, and it always
when
seemed...
she had the party, and then she made it like deflective, even though it was her fault. It's like, oh, this is you.
And it just seemed to resolve itself. I guess some of the other little dramas in there that were interesting, where we had the character Olive, who was Instagram famous and pretended to be rich, but in fact was poor. And coincidentally, her parents got annoyed the fact that she was pretending to be rich, even though they worked 2 jobs to pay for this school, so they decided to take her out of the school. But I guess it doesn't make sense because it's an elite academic school, but I think she was implying that she wasn't great academically, and she actually wasn't that good at basketball either. So I don't know why they spent all this money on her to go there, only for her to eventually be offered a scholarship.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, written for the sake of it. It was too coincidental that they were going to offer a big scholarship to this fancy player. And
did you buy that? Did you buy that? You know, you wouldn't go for the best player, and then you would go for the player. I understand the chemistry, but I don't know. It's like, and we never saw from that player again. It's like one episode, and she's a really good player apparently, and then we never saw from her again.
You see her again when they play that same school.
Oh, okay.
Because she gets a scholarship to another school, which is their rival school.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is they talk about her parents complain and say, oh, what, you guys aren't even going to offer us a full scholarship. Well, this school's going to offer us a full scholarship.
Yeah.
They're going to give us holidays. They're going to give us money, jet skis and all this stuff. But then when they play the school's a public school, and they talk about having low budgets.
Yeah.
So it doesn't add up why they would pay to recruit a player when they're actually not a wealthy school. But then a wealthy school isn't willing to pay to recruit players.
Yeah. And the athletes made it like a big deal.
Yeah. I also don't understand the whole division system. That they're in Division 1, but the team they keep beating is considered a Division 1. They're in Division 3, but their rival team is in Division 1.
Yeah.
But they play each other. But because they win their division, they're now a Division 2 team. I guess it makes more sense if you're American, but I don't understand the division system.
Yeah, it was confusing.
Yeah, I would have assumed that they were like everyone's in the same district, and then if you are the best team, you win that division, but you can go up divisions, and like, does the whole school move up divisions, or is it just the basketball team? Like, does their NFL team then become Division 1 school if their basketball team becomes a Division 1 basketball? I don't understand it. You got any other issues or talking points about the show?
Did you have any favourite characters or any favourite moments in the show?
Characters, I really liked his daughter, and I quite liked the assistant coach. Favourite moments, I always found it funny when they had the therapy sessions between Marvin, the coach, Korn, and the school counsellor, which I always found funny because my background, I was a school counsellor, and just seeing the way he operates, it's funny. Like, it's just so, it's not how you would do things, and the fact that he has to do therapy sessions with teachers, which is like really not a thing you do in schools. They're really against that. But they always had their little funny banter, and then towards the end they become friends. What about yourself? Do you have a standout character?
Maybe the principal, the head coach.
Yeah. Head coach, obviously main character. He's funny, very famous actor. Have you seen the principal or anything else?
No, she was pretty funny though.
Yeah, she's in a show called Community. And she's quite funny in Community, where she plays... she's very like a God-loving character in Community, and she's but funny. Like, it almost seemed like the same character. She did. She comes across in her personality. Favorite moment?
I actually liked the moment when they were talking kind of cockily and saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna win this game," and then the coach is like, "Well, you know." That moment, there's always that one time out of 10 that you can lose, and then he takes them to take on what? Did you kind of feel like that was a female MW?
It was probably a really good female basketball player. Whether they were professional, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Did you buy that 5 couldn't beat 1?
For his point, she kind of needed to beat them. I don't know if that would happen, but...
Because I was thinking about it, 5 versus 1, you think you'd still be able to win, but I guess if we got 5 of the best players we know and try to take on like LeBron James, I think he could probably beat us. Because just based on height, he could probably stand in front of the hoop and defend most things.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to stop him from scoring, so we'd have to rely on passing around and someone, you just can't miss. If you miss, he gets the ball and he'll score. So, yeah, I guess I could see it. But it's a good life lesson saying that don't be cocky just because they're playing the worst team that you're going to beat them.
And they forfeited anyway.
Yeah.
Did you buy it how the assistant coach just happened to have a car crash right when they were going to have their game to get into Division 2?
Yeah, it seems coincidental just so they can make the final game against the big rival.
Yeah.
I also don't buy it that they were that far behind and they managed to turn it around. Like, I think in basketball it's hard to, if you're 30 or 40 points behind, it's hard, like to make up that many points is hard because basketball's kind of a game of you score, I score, back and forth.
Oh, was that the first time they versed each other?
Yeah, and then Marvin, to prove a point, like had a go at the crowd and got kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
And then the assistant coach, like, she kept going on about how she won the game because she made all the calls, where in reality all she did was tell them, oh, this coach used to be my coach, her favourite play is this, on the last play of the game, do this, and then like she knew one play because she used to play for her.
Yeah.
What do you think season 2 is going to be about?
I think it's probably going to be about the decision of probably the reverse decision of the assistant coach, because her goal throughout the show is becoming the head coach. So we'll see, does she basically with the same thing as the main male character, does she take the job, go to the rival team, or does she stay with the girls that she's no longer? And will you get frustrated if the girls don't get frustrated with her leaving when they've known her longer and they got frustrated with the head coach?
Yeah, that would be annoying if they don't. But I think they will. If she leaves, they'll get frustrated. It's hard to pick what season 2 will be about. I'd have to imagine maybe new girls come into it, a few new characters, just to change it up. Because one or two of them talked about college, and I'd have to assume that they only play one basketball season per year. So now that basketball season's done, they then would be graduating, and then they would get some other players. I also think it's funny how they only ever focus on the 5 main starter players, but there's other players in the team that you see in the background, but you never see them any footage of them playing, or they don't get any like screen time.
No.
Which I guess you can't give everyone screen time, but they don't really even give them dialogue. Like they don't say a single word.
No.
So yeah, season 2, I'm thinking he stays coach. The other character, she goes and coaches at Carlsbad, and I guess that then will come down to some final game of who wins the championship. But overall, they're all friends. And
do you think the goal of the team will be get to Division 1 and kind of, I guess, I don't know, make whatever it is in America, like
state titles or something?
Yeah,
I think so. I'll focus on that. Maybe coming up against some new schools.
Yeah.
Maybe this character, I think her name was Holly, maybe she goes to Carlsbad, has a bit of success, and then the school in the end decides to take her back and make her coach, and then Marvin Korn then finally gets to go back to college and live his dream.
Because how many seasons do you think you can drag out of them?
Oh, not too many. Unless he was to follow some of them to college, I can't see why not. Maybe that's how it ends. Maybe he becomes like a WNBA coach or something. So I'm not sure, but they might get 3 seasons at best. But there's a point where the characters have to be replaced, or they move to college because they're too old. They couldn't continue to stay at the school.
Did you find the bee scene believable? It's like, where did the boy get all the bees from?
Not believable at all. I was saying before that episode that I go, I've never seen them play an away game. They never play at the same stadium, and then the one time they're going to play away, there's bees, and then they go back to their home ground.
And I would assume, due to COVID, that's why they had all like no crowds or something like that. It's like,
Oh, there was crowds at some games, but then the others, there was ones where they'd ban the crowds because there was, I don't know, I can't remember why, but there was like arguments and disputes between the two schools, and then for some reason they said, well, there's going to be no crowds. They banned them, and
There was just one episode when the scout was there. He was the only person there with like cutouts.
Yeah, that had something to do with they banned people because there was like riots against the. Oh, it sounded like they wouldn't play because they wanted them to change the name of the stadium because it had the father in it who was in trouble for embezzlement, and they're like, we're gonna boycott the game. We're gonna stop going unless you change the name. But then the away team still wanted all the tickets so that their fans could come, and then they said, well, that's not fair. We don't want to have a home game, but then it'd be full of your supporters, so they've been made no crowds. Overall, good show. Season 2, looking forward to. Worth a watch if you're looking for something new. Another good addition to Disney Plus.
Yeah. Hope season 2 comes out probably next year or
Yeah, I'd say early next year, something like that.
Well, thanks for helping, Luke. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Like and subscribe. Have a good rest of your day. Bye bye. Let the force be with you.